Good morning and welcome to the Piccalillian Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Hey, it is week 14, and that means it's fantasy playoff times are here. They are here in most leagues, and we are here to help guide you to a championship. I'm your host, Fantasy Insider Matt Lowry. Alongside me are 25-year fantasy veterans Henry the Commish Brick and the Professor Steve Wynn. As always, we are here to help you get to a championship. We're going to cover all the news and injuries around the NFL and how that affects your team. We're going to help you get ready for the playoffs. We have players to start, and as always, we'll be taking your calls all show long. Let's face it, this is a huge week in a lot of leagues. If you're in that wild card spot, you got to move on. Hey, it is do or die now, and no more losses. So you got to win this week. If you got any questions, you're not sure who to start, give us a call. The number 609-573-ESPN. That's 609-573-3776, and we will do the work for you. Hey, Commish, welcome to Week 14.
Matt, thanks for having me. Looking forward to one of the most exciting shows to date here at Kick-Ass Fantasy Football. It's playoff time. We are here to hit bullseyes for you so we can help you advance to the next round in the playoffs.
Yeah, listeners, we're here for you, and we want you to make it to your championship. There are teams that are starting to sit players because they're looking to the future. There's teams that are starting to think about resting their players. We want to make sure you have all that information so you have all the best players in your lineup.
All right, great stuff, guys. This is really the time when it starts getting exciting because, I mean, one loss and you're out. I mean, this is it. This is what it's all about, getting to this point. It is some great stuff. All right, guys, let's get into some news and injuries. What do you got for us, Commish?
Ben Roethlisberger took a majority of the first-team reps in practice this week. He is expected to start.
Bears' Michael Bush saw light work this week as he rehabs his ribs, and his playing status will be decided after pregame warmups today. Nothing worse than a game-time decision in your fantasy playoffs. Keep your league window open right up to game time.
DeMarco Murray with the foot is probable today. Did see light work most of the week and is expected to start. Felix Jones' practice will back him up.
Yeah, DeMarco Murray's actually a pretty good start today. I like that one. LaShawn McCoy, however, is out with a concussion. He may play before the end of the season, but he has 2 more rounds of concussion testing to pass before he can practice. Don't hold your breath, McCoy owners. Move on. Bryce Brown will start. Dion Lewis will back him up.
MJD continues to be out with that foot injury. Rashad Jennings out with a concussion. Looks like Montel Owens will get the start in Jacksonville.
Now, see, there's a nice waiver wire pickup to get you a few points that nobody was talking about 3 weeks ago.
Who's
James
that?
Montel Owens.
He plays in the NFL? Okay, all right.
James Starks is out for 2 games. Alex Green will start. You'll notice Jermichael Finley is in my picks later. This is why.
Jonathan Stewart, very doubtful with a high ankle injury, did not practice on Friday. That usually means they don't play on Sunday. Look for D'Angelo Williams to get the start this week.
Stevie Johnson was questionable, but he is expected to start. Ruvell Martin was his backup. Look, you're not handcuffing Bills wideouts. Next.
Mario Manningham is doubtful with a shoulder injury. Did not practice Friday. That usually means they won't play today.
Cecil Shorts is out. His time in the sun was short. Kevin Elliott has good size and will start opposite Justin Blackmon today.
Jets wide receiver Stephen Hill, questionable with a knee injury, was very limited in practice. His final status will be determined in pregame warmups.
Jets tight end Dustin Keller will not play. Jeff Cumberland's his backup, but just stay away from the mess that is the 2012 New York Jets, please.
Ryan Broyles, the wide receiver from the Lions, was placed on IR. Mike Thomas is expected to start in his place.
Jordy Nelson is out. Greg Jennings is back. Randall Cobb is good, and James Jones is there. The Lions are poor against the pass lately. We're going to talk about a lot of these players later.
Brandon LaFell was out with a turf toe injury last week. Did not practice Friday. Very doubtful to play. Look for Lois Murphy to get in there and play for him.
Lois, is that
Lois?
Lewis's wife?
Lois. Depending on how he plays, he's either Lewis or Lois.
That's all right. I had a question about later earlier. So Rob Gronkowski's still doubtful. My bet is he does not see the field till the playoffs. Aaron Hernandez, still a good play.
Look for Danny Amendola to be questionable today. Did see some light work on Friday. Final status will be decided in pregame warm-ups. Chris Givens will start again if Amendola cannot go.
This is another one where I think they're going to give Chris Givens the opportunity as the rookie and let Amendola rest for one more week. Redskin wideout Pierre Garçon practiced again Friday, expected to start.
Looks like Percy Harvin been placed on IR. Harvin never able to practice after suffering the injury. Michael Jenkins, Jarius Wright will continue to fill in for him.
That's got to hurt their professor. Being a Harvin owner.
Made a big trade to get him as a top 5 receiver earlier in the season, and needless to say, I'm out of the playoffs.
All right, well, that's the injury report brought to you by FantasyPlayerExchange.com, the only place to go for multi-sport daily fantasy. Sign up now and play against our very own Henry Brick in the Beat the Commish game. Every new account gets $10, and it's only $2 to play each week. If you beat the commish by the largest margin, you collect $50, and the player who gets the biggest margin all season long gets $1,000. That's right. So you can sign up today at FantasyPlayerExchange.com. Speaking of which, commish, how'd you do this week in the Beat the Commish game?
I hate when we come to this part because I've not been doing well. Which bodes well for all our listeners. I had Peyton Manning last week, Andrew Luck, Mike Williams, Pat Anger, all studs. I'm looking to win the first place, and then Rashad Jennings just kills me. So I end up coming in 6th. The good news is there's still a lot of money to be won. There's $1,000 still to be won. There's 4 weeks left, including today. Go to FantasyPlayerExchange.com. You want to play the Beat the Commish game, and if you beat me by the largest margin, you get $1,000. Beautiful thing.
You know, with the holidays coming, an extra $50 in your pocket, guaranteed, is not a bad thing.
Absolutely.
Guaranteed for somebody.
Pretty much.
Somebody.
I've come in as high as second. I have not won this thing yet, but this week is a whole different story.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you're on now, right?
Absolutely.
Right. You know, for 1 week being down, you can say he's a fluke. 2, you can say he's bad luck. We're up to a few now there.
Yeah.
All right.
13.
All right. Well, the challenge has been issued. That was good, Professor. All right. When we come back, we're going to open up the phone lines. We're going to start taking your lineup questions. Give us a call, 609-573-ESPN. That's 609-573-3776. You're listening to the Piccalillian Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show here on 97.3 ESPN.
Now is your chance to experience the new game that's transforming fantasy sports. Fantasy Player Exchange is a new daily game that allows you to compete against friends and fantasy foes for cash prizes. With FPX, you can select 5 players from any active sport. Sign up now at FantasyPlayerExchange.com for your chance to beat ESPN Radio's Henry the Commish Brick and win $1,000 cash. Go to FantasyPlayerExchange.com to sign up and play today. Remember, that's FantasyPlayerExchange.com.
We're famous for our buffalo wings. The Piccalilli. When it comes to cooking wings, we're the king. The Piccalilli. Pull up a chair, grab a table, enjoy the atmosphere. Have something good to eat or have yourself around if you can't stop in, stop back. Great food, great drinks where everybody is a friend. If you can't stop in, stop back. The Piccalillian.
It isn't fall without the famous Piccalilli Inn. Catch all of your favorite football action at the Piccalilli Inn. Check out the Pick's brand new menu featuring homemade buffalo chicken egg rolls, buffalo shrimp, scallops, and the tender Pick burger. They go great with one of the Pick's ice-cold on-tap beers. Catch every football game at the Pick. Enjoy an awesome meal while you watch your favorite team. The Piccalilli Inn, a Jersey tradition since the 1920s. On Route 206 in Chemong. If you can't stop in, stop back.
The Piccalilli Inn.
Don't let your fantasy issues become a reality. Fantasy Judgment is the premier dispute resolution service for all fantasy sports leagues. Led by attorney Michael Stein, the Supreme Court of Fantasy Judgment will resolve any and all issues or conflicts that arise in fantasy leagues. This includes disputed trades, collusion, abuse of power by league commissioners, lineup and roster errors, draft issues, score discrepancies, and interpretation of league rules. We alleviate the burden for league commissioners and allow everyone to focus on winning their leagues rather than arguing over disputes. Visit www.fantasyjudgment.com.
fantasy football. The Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. here on 97.3 ESPN. Join the professor, the commish, and fantasy insider Matt Lowry for the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Got a question? Call us. Who should you start? Who should you trade? Who's great? And who just plain sucks? The Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. On the web at kickassfantasyfootball.com. Yeah, kickassfantasyfootball.com. And every Sunday at 9 a.m.
I felt that one way up here.
Right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Piccalillian Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. I'm your host, fantasy insider Matt Lowry, alongside the commission, the professor. Hey, I want to remind everyone you can find all this great information on our website. It'll help you through the playoffs. It's www.kickassfantasyfootball.com. Sign up today, use promo code FANTASY, and get 50% off the regular rate. We're going to open up the phone lines. Again, that number is 609-573-ESPN. That's 609-573-3776 to help you with any last-minute line of questions that you might have. And, in fact, we got Frank on the phone right now. Frank, welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning, gentlemen. How you doing this morning?
Great, Frank. Good morning.
What do you got for us?
All right. I was curious between Josh Freeman, got a great matchup against the Eagles, or Stafford tonight against Green Bay.
Wow.
You know what? I'm going to jump in first here. I would absolutely play Freeman. I'm going to get to it a little bit later, but Stafford's going to be playing in some significant snow tonight, so you got to put a little bit of a damper on the passing game. So Freeman's matchup notwithstanding, Stafford's just not a great play. So absolutely Freeman for me.
You know what?
Okay.
It's hard to bench a Stafford on the road against Green Bay, where he's going to have to throw the ball a lot, but Freeman does have an amazing matchup. Eagles giving up like the most points against quarterbacks. So I'm going to play the matchup here. It's the playoffs. You got to win. I'm going Freeman. I'm agreeing with the professor.
All right. There you go.
Thanks a lot, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
You got it,
Thank
Frank. Good luck, man.
Thanks for that. All right. We're starting off on a good note here. The two of you agreeing. All right. I like that. I thought you
hey, it's all about giving our listeners the right information.
We ended on a bad note last week, and we do invite listener Bonnie to give a call in, our last caller from last week.
I take it you already know the results of that one, and you're ready to...
We'll talk about that later. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay. All right. Well, now it is time for my favorite part of the show. It is time for Dude, I'm Sorry. Hey, this is where they have to put egg on their own face and admit who they messed up on last week. Professor, who are you sorry for?
You know what? I went double down on Vernon Davis, and he came up small with just 14 yards receiving last week, preventing me from putting up a second straight week of perfect pigskin prognosticating. For that, dude, I'm sorry.
Next time you have a chance to
So
tell someone,
angry at that play.
don't hesitate.
That is
Advice.
That is great.
Well deserved. All right, Commish, who are you sorry for?
Man, I got to tell you, I lost sleep over this. So, I'm prefacing, yes, I did. I did lose sleep. Man, I am really sorry about telling our listeners and our esteemed colleague, the professor, to start Tom Brady and Trent Richardson.
What did I call it last week? You were putting the juju on me?
I did not. It was not an intentional thing. I boasted that these two players will put up stud-like performances. Instead, Brady only gave us 238 yards and a touchdown. Trent, just 72 yards and a touchdown. I also stated one of my very own players, Bryce Brown, was going to be a dud. I had no choice but to start him in my own league against the professor, and he ends up putting up 183 total yards and 2 touchdowns. All this worked against the professor, and this will make you miss the playoffs, as me and my partner, fantasy insider Matt Lowry, bumped him off. For that, dude, I'm sorry.
Oh my God, the quarterback is toast.
I don't ever want to hear about spin again.
Wow. And that is so.
The only thing spinning was the knife in my back.
All right. So Professor, you are now out.
I am out in that league.
In that
yes,
league.
that is a disappointment.
And where are we at?
We are the, of course, the returning champions and number 1 seed.
And the number 1 seed.
Yes.
Great. All right, I just wanted to clear out. I wasn't sure.
Yes, I already got the ring size. So,
okay. Great. All right. That's enough feeling sorry for ourselves or feeling sorry for the professor in this case. Who did we hit the home run on? Commish, Who you demand about?
Glad you asked, Matt. I was all over Dallas wide receivers last week, all of them, and they combined for 252 yards and 3 touchdowns, along with Mike Williams, who caught 6 balls, 93 yards, and a touchdown. Yes, I'm the man.
Sorry, Hans, wrong guess. Would you like to go for double jeopardy where the scores can really change?
I'm liking we're sticking with some 80s theme stuff.
Yeah.
We do seem to be playing the 80s. You know, the commission and I had 2 big disagreements last week. The aforementioned Bryce Brown, who was one of my picks of the week as a good play. But the best play of the week last week was unquestionably T.Y. Hilton. Out there on the waiver wire in a lot of leagues, certainly not a starter for most owners. And I do hope our caller Bonnie listened to the professor, not the commish, as Hilton put up a 100-yard day for our listeners, not for myself, unfortunately, but for our listeners, I am the man. That is fantastic.
Oh, good. All right, that one was good.
That was good.
You win.
All right. All right, great stuff, guys. Now it is time to get into our Pick-a-Lily picks of the week. Hey, these are guys that are a bit farther down the list but can help you out if you've got some of these injuries going on this week. These are some guys to try to plug in. And let's face it, it's the playoffs. It's win or go home, as the professor well knows. And so you got to win this week. These are the guys that can help you do it. Commish, why don't you start us out at quarterback? What do you got?
Loving Eli Manning versus the Saints. Saints give up the 6th most fantasy points to the quarterback. A must start for fantasy playoffs. Love Eli.
Andrew Luck is my play of the day at quarterback. He draws the abysmal Titans. He's fighting for a playoff spot. He is a guy you do not have to worry about being rested in your fantasy playoffs. You have to start him over just about everyone.
We already talked about him earlier in the show. Josh Freeman versus the Birds. Philly's giving up the most fantasy points to the quarterback, and clearly they're in evaluation mode, so start Freeman.
You know, Matt Ryan was good enough earlier in the season that he was a no-brainer start, but not in recent weeks. So now you might be iffy, but you must start him against the Panthers.
Matt Schaub versus the Pats. He will have to throw it a lot in this game and should do well versus a very shaky secondary of New England.
We got the Grinch going in the background.
There you go.
That is awesome, too.
Great stuff.
I hate to give you Joe Flacco. I hate to give him any sort of love on this show. He's a tough recommendation, but he plays the Redskins, who plain stink against the pass. If he's in a committee for you, start him today.
Dallas Clark moving on to tight ends versus the Birds. He's been on fire lately, and playing the Birds is a great start. They just can't stop the tight end.
It's almost the easiest sentence to write on the show. Whoever's starting against the Eagles.
Yes.
If you need some help out there, Greg Olsen is a good play. He's going to have a lot more targets coming his way in Week 14 or Week 14 with Brandon LaFell on the shelf.
Kyle Rudolph versus the Bears. No Harvin is huge for Rudolph. An absolute must start the rest of the way.
You know, Rudolph is always a good play in December.
Yes.
I'm going to ask Martellus Bennett, though, to guide my sleigh this weekend. The Giants are in must-win mode against a hungry Saints team.
All right, how about Brandon Pettigrew versus Green Bay? No Ryan Broyles. Will mean a lot of targets for Pettigrew in this game.
I like that thinking. Jermichael Finley has got the same kind of situation with the running backs on the shelf over there. He's pulled in some tough catches in recent weeks, and I think he is a great play against the Lions in this NFC North Classic.
All right, so there are quarterbacks and tight ends, and I got to say, Professor, I like the little, sticking the Christmas references in there. That's good.
I'm in the spirit.
Well, he has more time to work on.
It's not how it works.
We have our experts league, our staff league, and I'm pretty sure that I'm number 1 in points and number 2 overall in that league.
Number 3, but listen, you're very
number
good.
3.
I'm
number 2.
Okay.
Are you number 2?
Yeah.
Well, while y'all two argue about this, let's go back to the phone lines. We have Ishmael from Northfield on the phone. Ishmael, welcome to the show. What do you got for us?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Listen, I just recently lost Gronkowski, like everybody knows, and I had to pick up 2 tight ends.
Okay.
So I have Jared Cook and Scott Chandler.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with these 2 guys.
Yeah, Jared Cook, man. I like him a lot this week. Chandler's coming off an injury, so I'm liking Cook this week.
Yeah, I think Cook is your better play of those 2 guys. If you do want to go take a look and see who's out on the waiver wire as another option, I like Olsen better than either of them and Myers better than either of them. Actually, Myers is already done for the week, but
also,
Olsen at least, yeah.
Quick thing here for the kickers, I have Justin Tucker and Phil Dawson. I think they both have good chances, but I don't know who to pick.
Yeah, Tucker is going to have at least more extra point opportunities. It's hard to predict on field goals, but I would have to think that he's going to get the better chances down in the red zone.
Yeah, I mean, either way, Dawson's probably a little bit more on fire with hitting the long ones, but he does have the easier matchup with Kansas City, so you might get more extra points there. Right. So yeah, Tucker's probably the better play.
Okay, thank you very much, John.
All right, there you go. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Doug from Galloway on the phone. Doug, welcome to the show.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Doug. Good morning.
Bear in mind, I'm playing against Brady come Monday night.
Okay.
I need to start one of these two receivers in this game, either Andre Johnson or Welker.
Well, I'm loving Andre Johnson in this one. Welker, who definitely got a ton of targets last week, and is a great matchup, especially with the injuries to the tight end. I think Houston's got to throw the ball a hell of a lot more than New England in this one. Although they're both great matchups. I'm going to go Johnson. What do you think, Professor?
I do think that Houston's going to come in ready to try and stop Tom Brady and dare the running backs to win this game. So I think they're all over Welker. And I just think that Andre Johnson is the better play. Schaub is going to have to toss it a bunch.
All right.
There you go, Doug.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks for the call. All right, and look, y'all are staying together. I like this. The spirit of Christmas has infected the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. That's some good stuff.
It was the smart eggnog before the show.
There. All right, well, we got Dan from Millville on the line. Dan, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning. What do you got for us?
Thank you. I got two quick questions. One's a real headache. The other one, first one's defenses on Pittsburgh or Washington this week. Which way would you lean towards?
Wow.
Or I guess say punt return, kick returns, basically some interceptions and stuff.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'm going to go Washington on this one. They're at home, going up against Baltimore's got a bunch of injuries. I mean, that's a tough one. I'm going to go Washington. I like Washington a little bit better than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is just their defense is a bit decimated more than Washington's weak secondary. So I'm going to pick the lesser of two evils on this one.
It's a tough call. Do you get any negative points if they go over 35 on the scoreboard? No, you don't have to worry about that. Because I really do think the Baltimore-Washington game is going to be a shootout. Both defenses are kind of beat up. I'm going to disagree with the commission. I'm going to say that Pittsburgh's a better play. I think that San Diego's offense has got some issues, to say the least.
All right.
Great. Hey, I appreciate both your inputs.
Yep.
All right.
My biggest question I got here, if you don't mind, give me another minute.
Sure.
Is wide receiver plays. We play 4. It's not a PPR, and I've been juggling these all year, and it's down to crunch time here.
Okay.
So I was wondering, between the 5 I'm going to give you, I'm going to need 3.
Okay.
If you could help me out.
Sure.
And I got Bo. I got Sidney Rice, Mike Williams, Stevie Johnson, and Josh Gordon.
All right, and you need 3 out of these 5, correct?
Well, I'm sitting Bo. He's going to see a lot of Joe Hayden this week.
Yeah.
I'm not in love with Rice. I think he's coming off that head injury, isn't he? A little bit shaken up. Love Mike Williams.
Yeah.
You got to go Stevie Johnson and Josh Gordon, man. Love him. He's just on fire.
I think that Williams and Johnson are your slam dunks, and it would come down to Rice and Josh. And I do think that that Gordon or Morgan is the best player, the best play there.
Excellent.
So we are in agreement.
We're all on the same page there.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
You got it, man.
Sorry on the on the defenses. You're gonna have to. Well, you're gonna have to go with the guy who's usually right, but or you can pick Washington. That's
or
your
the
choice.
guy that is number 1 in this league. And, okay, good.
All right,
All
Dan.
right, guys. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, bud.
All right, we got Mike from Galloway on the phone. Mike, what do you got for us?
Hey, what's going on? I'm in the fantasy last week. Win and you're in.
Okay.
So
All right.
my question to you is, I got Tony Romo or I got Russell Wilson today?
Tony Romo or Russell Wilson?
You know, that's usually an easy one for Romo, but Wilson has actually been getting it done very consistently lately. problem is Arizona's defense, while they're not the Titans that they were, pushing people around earlier in the season, they are still very solid. So I'm going to go with Romo.
I'm going to disagree with the professor. I'm going to go Russell Wilson, and let me tell you why. Dallas is on the road against the Bengals. Bengals defense have been very stout against the pass and have been very stingy. Yeah. And Romo has been very unexciting. I'm going to tell you, especially when he's got a good pass rush. And I think Cincinnati's going to find a way.
Cincinnati has a very good pass rush.
Yeah,
we'll give you that.
So I'm going to go Russell Wilson here. I mean, Arizona.
All right, we got a split decision. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do got one more for you. I'm starting Andre Johnson and Calvin Johnson, and I need one more. I just picked up Chris Givens this week, or I could start Miles Austin or James Jones.
Well, guess what? I like Chris Givens. I think that was a great pickup. I'm starting him myself in my in our staff league. I think it's a great pickup. Miles Austin's got a tough matchup against the Bengals. They got a decent secondary there, so I'm going to go Givens on this one, Professor.
100% agree. I think Givens is a better play than Calvin Johnson this week. If you had another guy that you could start, I do think that the snow is going to affect that Detroit passing game. But Calvin Givens is absolutely your best 1, 2, 3 out of the names you gave us.
All right, there you go.
All right. I thank you so much for your help. You guys have a very Merry Christmas.
You too, Mike. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
All right, we got Josh from Northfield on the phone. Josh, what do you got for us?
Hey, guys, I have a wide receiver question for you.
All right.
All right, I have Dwayne Bowe, Greg Jennings, Antonio Brown, Fitzgerald, and Greg Olsen. I need to start 2 of them.
All right, you got Dwayne Bowe, Greg Jennings, Fitzgerald, Olsen, and who else?
And Antonio Brown.
Brown.
Wow.
And we need 2 out of those.
That is the poo-poo platter of wide receiver options. I do like Olsen as an upside play, and I would say that Fitz is the best play of those guys, but he does face the Seattle D in Seattle, where the passing games can get a little messed up, and I think he's got a high school quarterback throwing him the ball, so that could affect it. You know what? I'm going Olsen and Jennings. I think that Jennings gets a lot of targets this week with Jordy Nelson on the sidelines.
I agree with Jennings. Like Jennings this week. But my other pick, I'm going to stay away from Olsen only because he's a tight end. I'm going to go with Fitzgerald. I like to play at Seattle because John Skelton's back at the helm, which isn't that much better than who they had in there last week. But it is good news for Larry Fitzgerald. I think he finds a way to get him the ball.
All right, there you go. So, well, you definitely got one out of the to play. All right, thanks for the call, Josh. All right, well, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Eric from EHT on the phone. Eric, what do you got for us?
Yo, guys, love your show.
Man,
first week of fantasy, and it's time to get hot, and I can't fail.
That's
all right. Let's do it, man.
You called the right people.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. All right, first question: Who do you like better, Darren Sproles or Jonathan Dwyer?
Wow.
Sproles or Dwyer?
You know what? Chris Ivory is out. That's one less mouth to feed in New Orleans. I like Sproles. I like a healthy Sproles over Dwyer this week.
You know what? I'm going to disagree. I like Dwyer here at home against San Diego. You got Big Ben coming back, which means they can't load up in the box. They're going to have to respect that passing game. I like Dwyer a little bit better because I think with the Ivory injury, I think Mark Ingram's going to be the bigger beneficiary there.
Okay. Understand that. All right.
You got something else for us?
Would you possibly start Luck over Brady this week?
Wow. Luck
over
Brady.
You know what? You can flip a coin on that because Luck faces one of the worst, if not second worst pass defense, and Brady plays one of the better defenses in the league.
Right.
Luck is playing for his fantasy or his playoff life.
Yeah,
Brady is guaranteed a playoff berth, so a little bit more urgency on Luck's side. Really, you can make the argument, but no, I'd play Brady.
Wow, you know what? I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go Luck at home. Luck at home has been on fire, over 300 yards every time he plays at home. Like you said, Professor, playing a weak Tennessee secondary. I'm going to go Luck over Brady on this one.
But Professor, even you couldn't really argue with it. You said you can make the argument that way.
I love Luck this week, and Brady is one of two guys that it's really hard to bench him.
Right. It's just you just say you would bench Brady, but
yeah.
But you know what? You got to win. You need a bullseye here. Luck will be a guaranteed bullseye.
All right.
Understand. All right, another quick one to really rack your brain, and this is a hard one.
All right.
Out of these 5, who would you start? I need 3.
Okay.
Brandon Marshall, Vincent Jackson, Jimmy Graham, Reggie Wayne, or Pierre Garçon.
That is a hell of a problem to have.
Yeah.
I like that problem.
I can't lose, guys. I need 3.
Yeah, I think that Jimmy Graham is a lock to see a lot of targets, so that'd be one. I think that Brandon Marshall, he could be seeing a little bit more targets this week. He's been very good in recent weeks. So, Kamish?
I think I'm with you there. It's Marshall, E3, right? So I'm going Marshall. I like Graham, and I'm Reggie Wayne. I mean, they're the 3.
Well, that was that was the part that I was having a little trouble with. Vincent Jackson does get that Eagles D.
Yeah, but you know what? I think all the attention will be on VJack. I think Mike Williams will be the big target in this one, and because he's going to be double teamed, the safety over the top, and
Cromartie's on Williams, and you have to give Asamoah the respect. Okay, I can go with that. I'm with you there.
We're
Marshall,
in agreement
Graham,
on one.
Graham and Wayne.
There you go.
Sounds good, guys. I really appreciate your show, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. Good luck, man.
You too. All right. Hey, we got the bacon man Eugene on the phone. Eugene.
Eugene.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, man. How you doing?
Breakfast almost ready. No bacon in the plate. Do I go with Vernon Davis or go with Antonio Gates?
That's awesome. I'm going Vernon Davis on this one. Gates has been very unexciting. I actually I benched him. I picked up Dallas Clark in the league that I've had Gates because he just has not been getting it done. Hard to trust a guy that hasn't been getting it done. It's playoff time, Eugene, and you need guys that are going to get you points, period. And
Professor, wasn't Davis your dad? I mean,
Davis,
your dude, I'm sorry?
Dude, I'm sorry, this week with a 14-yard day, a 0-yard day.
That was
Copernic. Yeah, Copernic does not. It doesn't target Davis enough. I don't like Gates a whole lot either. I think, Eugene, we have finally found the weak point on your team.
Yeah,
it is the tight end. I'm going Gates. Kaepernick just doesn't go Davis's way.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks to the professor and the commiss. Last week I won. I made it to the playoffs. This week, Lance Moore or Pierre Garçon?
Lance Moore, Pierre Garçon.
You know what? I love Pierre Garçon this week. I think he's back to that top 10 form that he was in earlier in the season.
Yeah, for those owners who had to sit through that injury spell, let me tell you, they're getting paid off in the playoffs.
Yeah, if you made it through Garçon and Hernandez's injuries with those guys on your bench, you're smiling now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like Garçon myself, Eugene. Garçon's the way to go.
Garçon. All right. Thanks a lot, Eugene. Thanks for the call.
Have a happy holiday.
You too. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Eddie from Ocean City on the phone. Eddie, welcome to the show.
Morning, guys. Love your show.
Hey, man,
great
thanks.
to hear it. What do you got for us?
I need a flex, and I think this is going to pull me over the top this week if I can pick the right one.
All right.
I got Alfred Morris or Torrey Smith or Mike Williams.
Torrey Smith is probably the lowest quality of those 3 guys. PPR?
Yes, it is a PPR.
You know what? I'm leaning towards Mike Williams. I think that Alfred Morris is going to have a better day overall, but I think Williams is going to see a lot of targets, have a lot of points out of those receptions.
Yeah, I agree. We've been talking about Mike Williams all show. I think VJack gets all the attention in this one. Mike Williams is a great player, a great start, and you're using it as a flex. It's beautiful.
All right, good stuff there.
All right, appreciate it.
I got to ask you, Ed, who you sitting or who you starting that you're sitting Morris?
There. I got Trent Richardson and Arian Foster.
Yeah, that'll do it. Okay.
Now we get it.
Congratulations on your championship, Ed.
Absolutely.
That's a good team.
All right.
Good stuff.
Thanks for the call. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Brandon from Northfield on the phone. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going? What do you got for us?
I got a running back question. I got C.J. Spiller, Fred Jackson, Michael Bush, and Jonathan Dwyer. I got to start 2 of them. Who should I go with?
All right, 2 out of the 4. What do you got for us?
I do like Spiller as a definite start out of those guys. Bush is, he's a game-time decision. It's a little tough.
Yeah, I mean, I love Spiller. He's a no-brainer, I think. You probably got to go Dwyer on this one. I mean, Michael Bush, hard to trust. It's playoff time. You can't go with guys that are, that you're not sure about. So I think you got to go guys that you're sure about. Dwyer's got a great matchup at home against San Diego, and Spiller's just been getting it done. So you got to go Spiller and Dwyer.
All right, there you go. Thanks, Brandon, for the call. And we got Eric from Absecon on the phone. Eric, what do you got for us?
Hey, I got two questions for you, if you can handle it. First one is a tight end. And I just picked somebody drop Brandon Pettigrew, and since Detroit's every other wide receiver they have is on injured reserve, I figured he might be a good start, but I'd have to put him in over Gresham or Dayton.
You know what? Gresham's actually coming, has a tweaked hammy, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so, and Pettigrew's got a great matchup. You got, remember, Ryan Broyles is out. So other than Calvin, he's got a great matchup, and if the snow is going to be a factor in that game, you're going to see a lot more short passes.
Yep.
So Pettigrew's a great start.
Right there with you. Pettigrew is
the man.
Better play.
All right, what's your second question?
Flex, same game between Michael LaSure, Kenny Britt, or Mike Williams, the PPR.
And you need one?
Yeah, we're going to go with Mike Williams again here. Much as I love Kenny Britt, and I think LaSure is going to see a lot of carries today, I think Mike Williams is head and shoulders above the other two.
Yep, Mike Williams, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, you got it, man.
Great stuff there. Hey, we are here to help guide you to a championship. Let's face it, it's playoff week. It is win or go home. If you got any of those last-minute lineup questions, you need some help, make sure you got the right guys plugged in. Give us a call. And number 609-573-ESPN. That's 609-573-3776. When we come back, we'll keep the phone lines going open, and we have more of the Piccalilli Picks of the Week to get through. We'll also help you with our studs, duds, and sleepers for Week 14 of the playoffs. You're listening to the Piccalilli Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show here on 97.3 ESPN.
Fantasy football owners, it's draft time, and kickassfantasyfootball.com makes it easy.
How do we make it easy?
Projections from the experts, cheat sheets with your scoring rules.
What else?
Articles all season long, waiver wire picks, trade advice, everything you need to win a championship.
How about a free judgment from fantasyjudgment.com, a $15 value?
Now we're talking.
Subscribe today for just $9.95, and we'll throw in a complimentary cruise for two to the Bahamas.
Cruise to a championship with kickassfantasyfootball.com.
Don't let your fantasy issues become a reality. Fantasy Judgment is the premier dispute resolution service for all fantasy sports leagues. Led by attorney Michael Stein, the Supreme Court of Fantasy Judgment will resolve any and all issues or conflicts that arise in fantasy leagues. This includes disputed trades, collusion, abuse of power by league commissioners, lineup and roster errors, draft issues, score discrepancies, and interpretation of league rules. We alleviate the burden for league commissioners and allow everyone to focus on winning their leagues rather than arguing over disputes. Visit www.fantasyjudgment.com.
Fantasy Football, the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. here on 97.3 ESPN. Join the Professor, the Commish, and Fantasy Insider Matt Lowry for the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Got a question? Call us. Who should you start? Who should you trade? Who's great? And who just plain sucks? The Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. On the web at kickassfantasyfootball.com. Yeah, kickassfantasyfootball.com. And every Sunday at 9 a.m.
I felt that one way up here.
Right here on 97.3 ESPN.
We're famous for our buffalo wings. The Piccalilli. When it comes to cooking wings, we're the king. The Piccalilli. Pull up a chair, grab a table, enjoy the atmosphere. Have something good to eat or have yourself around here. If you can't stop in, stop back. Great food, great drinks where everybody is a friend. If you can't stop in, stop back. The Piccalilli.
It isn't fall without the famous Piccalilli Inn. Catch all of your favorite football action at the Piccalilli Inn. Check out the Pick's brand new menu featuring homemade buffalo chicken egg rolls, buffalo shrimp, scallops, and the tender Pick Burger. They go great with one of the Pick's ice-cold on-tap beers. Catch every football game at the Pick. Enjoy an awesome meal while you watch your favorite team. The Piccalilli Inn, a Jersey tradition since the 1920s. On Route 206 in Chemong. If you can't stop in, stop back.
The Piccalilli Inn.
Welcome back to the Piccalilli Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Hey, I'm Matt Lauer, and alongside me is Henry the Commish Brick and the Professor Steve Wynn, and we're doing what we love, and that is talking fantasy football.
You know, I just want to point out, this is crazy. We had 11 callers in the first half of the show. We got a bonus show next week. 2 hours, 3 shows left in the season. You want to jump in and advertise on this show? This is the kickoff of the football coverage day on the ESPN on Sunday mornings. You can have an opportunity to have your business, you got something with the holidays up, end of the year, you want to start moving some merchandise, give us a call. You can have your commercial played on our show. Call the commish, 609-680-0577 if you want to advertise with us. A lot of opportunity and obviously a lot of listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next week's show is going to be great. That 2-hour special to help get you to that championship game.
Yeah, once we get deeper into the playoffs, man, the listener base grows and grows, and you can tell all by the callers we're getting. We've got some great callers.
Speaking of which, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Freddie from Pleasantville on the phone. Freddie, what do you got for us?
How you doing? Real quick, I got a flex position. Nate Washington or Owen Daniels?
Nate Washington or Owen Daniels?
Wow. I'm not in love with Nate Washington this week. I think he's got even though it's up against the Colts, I think I don't like what I think is going to happen there against him. I'm going to go Owen Daniels on this one on Monday Night Football.
Boy, it's a tough one. I don't see the targets happening for Nate Washington, so I'm going to agree with you. Owen Daniels against the Patriots linebackers is a good play.
All right, there you go.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot for the call,
Fred.
All right, let's go back to phone lines. We got John from Millville on the phone. John, welcome to the show. What do you got for us?
I got wide receiver and running back questions.
Okay. All right.
My wide receivers, I got 3. I got Dwayne Bell, Greg Jennings, Randall Cobb, T.Y. Hilton, Chris Givens, and Gonzalez.
And how many of them do you need?
I need to start 3.
You need to start 3 of them. Commish, what do you got?
Well, you got to go with Chris Givens. We talked about him earlier in the show. Great start this week. T.Y. Hilton's just been getting it done. And Randall Cobb, how could you sit that guy? Dwayne Bowe's going to have a tough matchup there. Gonzo's certainly tough to bench, but look, he's a tight end. I'll take a wide receiver over a tight end any day.
Yeah, really, the decision you've got there, John, is Bowe is out. Jennings is just coming back from injury, so I wouldn't consider him either. So with those 2 guys out of the equation, you're choosing between Gonzalez and Givens, and I just like Givens' upside this week. So Cobb, Hilton, Givens for me too.
All right, there you go. You have a second question for us?
I got running back.
All right, what do you got?
I got Ryan Matthews, Chris Johnson, Ray Rice, and Marshawn Lynch. I can start 2.
Wow, that's like the murderer's row of guys who have screwed me up this season. So I don't know if I want to answer. I like Chris Johnson this week. In fact, I always have a good comedy bit whenever I recommend him, and I do today. So he'd be one of my picks. Commish?
Yeah, I'm going to go Chris Johnson myself, and also you got to go the Beast, man, up against Arizona. He's at home. They play great at home with that 12th man there. Tough to bench Skittles, so I'm going Lynch with Johnson.
Yeah.
Wow, so bench Rice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call. Let's go back to phone lines. We got Anthony from Bridgeton on the phone. Anthony, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm in a standard league with a return bonus, and I need a flex, and I need a wide receiver out of these guys.
All right.
I have Sproles, Kenny Britt, Torrey Smith, and T.Y. Hilton.
You know what? I like Torrey Smith against that Washington defense in the Battle of Maryland, so that's one. I think that he's got an opportunity for some long plays if you get bonuses there. Fantastic. Of the remainder, I think that it's either Sproles or Britt, and I'm sticking with I think Sproles is going to get more targets this week, so I would go Sproles over Britt.
I like Torrey Smith too, but I think I'm liking T.Y. Hilton as the other play there as your flex. T.Y. is going to have a great matchup. He's home. Luck is on fire at home, and let's face it, Hilton's been getting it done. So I'm like Torrey Smith and T.Y. Hilton.
I was scribbling fast and missed that one. I'm going to change my choice. T.Y. Hilton and
uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Hey, kumbaya here.
I was writing as fast as I could, and I missed one.
Right.
And I love T.Y. Hilton today. He's on my wide receiver list, so I don't want to confuse Anthony.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
There you go, Anthony. All right, we got Jim from Lower Township on the phone. Jim, what do you got for us?
How you doing, guys? Quarterback question. We played 2 quarterbacks. I have Drew Brees as one. I just got Ben Roethlisberger back, and I have Russell Wilson.
Roethlisberger or Wilson?
Roethlisberger or Wilson?
Wow. I do like Pittsburgh's matchup a little bit, and I don't like Seattle's matchup, but Wilson gets it done with his legs, and I don't trust Roethlisberger to get it done today. He could get very easily dinged up and miss 3/4 of the game. So I go with the short thing with Wilson, even though Roethlisberger might have a little higher ceiling.
Yeah, let's face it. You do have to win. You can't really take chances at this point in the season.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want to.
Actually, it's not a head-to-head league. It's a total points regular season league, and I'm in second place right now. And I've been tossing this back and forth all morning. I don't know which way to go.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the professor here. I'm going to go Wilson. I'm in a similar league that you're in, and I like Wilson. He's been getting it done. Hard to trust guys that are coming off the injury and stuff. I'm going to give Big Ben a week here, and next week I'm going to look to him.
Yeah, he's got the opportunity
Can I ask you one more
big.
quick question?
Sure. What do you got?
Flex position, Crabtree or Reggie Bush? No PPR, just yardage and touchdowns.
Reggie Bush every day and Sunday.
Yeah, but you know what? Bush is going to go up against an angry San Francisco 49ers who lost last week at home. And Bush has been splitting carries with Daniel Thomas. I'm going Crabtree on this one because Manningham is out. He's hurt and doubtful to play. So Crabtree's going to be, I think, has a great shot of getting it done. Crabtree's the better play here.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow. How many weeks has Crabtree outperformed Reggie Bush in a PPR?
Guess what?
That is a bold call. I will give you that. I'm going with the safer bet
So
here.
hold on, this isn't a PPR league.
It is. Is this a PPR league or not?
No, it is not. It is not.
Absolutely, Reggie Bush. Then.
Look, Bush. I'm telling you, you're going to get to the Niners. Really? No way. No way.
All right.
Crabtree.
There you go.
Thank you guys. I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
All right, Jim. Thanks.
All right, Juan from Galloway's on the phone. Juan, what do you got for us?
Hi, how are you? I have two questions.
Sure.
Tight end question. Hello?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. I have a tight end question. I have Finley and Greg Olson.
You know what? With the injury to Jordy Nelson, I think Finley sees a lot of targets. Add in the snow factor, I think Finley is a lock in that of those two.
Yeah, the only problem with that is Finley stinks. He has no hands, so I'm going to go Greg Olson on this one.
Man, you Jesse, y'all do not like each other right now.
Listen, Olsen's home.
I feel the vibe.
He's at home. He's going up against Atlanta. Atlanta's defense is not scary, and guess what? He's been a little bit more on fire than Finley this whole season, so I like Olsen.
All right, well, what's your other question? Maybe they can come to an agreement on that one.
Yeah, wide receiver. I have to start three.
All right.
I have Jennings, Fitzgerald, Stevie Johnson, Cobb, and Miles Austin.
Wow, you got almost the same team as John a couple calls ago. I would say that Cobb and Fitz are probably your better bets. Jennings, you still got to wait to see what's going to happen with him.
Yeah, I mean, I like Cobb a lot here. I'm probably going to go Fitz. Yeah, I think you're right.
All right, so we're back on. We're back together. Yeah. Good thing. All right, Juan, thanks for the call.
All right, mate, go up.
All right, guys. Well, we still got some Piccalilli picks to get through, so we got to get into our wide receivers. Commish, what do you got for us at wide receiver in our Piccalilli picks?
We've been talking about him all show. Mike Williams versus the Eagles. Eagles give up the 8th most points to the wide receiver. All the attention will be on VJack. Williams is a great start.
We talked about this guy, too. T.Y. Hilton gets another week of attention. Colts face the Titans. Bonnie, play him.
Marcus Colson versus the Giants. Giants give up the 10th most fantasy points to the wide receiver. Love him in this game.
Randall, Tex Cobb, another Packer with a great matchup this week. Jordy Nelson out. Get him on your lineup.
Andre Johnson versus the New England Patriots. Johnson will be the number one target for Schaub as the old man gets it done in this one.
Wow. I remember when Andre Johnson was a guy who was a no-question start. The fact that we've even got to mention him is definitely a comment
crazy.
On how the Houston Texans have changed over the years. I like Pierre Garçon in this third spot as a must-start this week. He is back. He looks real good.
Going on the running back, Ahmad Bradshaw versus the Saints. He's really the only legit running back threat they have now. So this means he will get to carry the load the whole game.
You know what? I've been lucky choosing Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. The weeks that he does well are the weeks that I seem to pick him, and this feels like one of those weeks the Cowboys can be beat on the ground.
Trent Richardson versus the Chiefs. Chiefs are just bad. Great start during playoff time here.
Okay, Monday Night Football. I think the Texans will game prep to stop Tom Brady this week, and that will open up running lanes for Stephen Ridley. Bill Belichick is one of the smartest coaches in the land. Don't get caught sleeping on this one.
Alfred Morris, the Butler. No Ray Lewis for another week means the Butler will run all day in Baltimore.
And finally, I feel tainted every time I call Chris Johnson's number this season, but but every week I call it, he does well, so I'm pulling the streak to keep on going here.
Okay, sounds good. So we got through our Piccalilli picks of the week, but we got one more set of picks going. We got Everett from the Pick In here to give his picks of the week. What's going on, Everett?
Going on, guys? How are you?
We're doing good, Everett. We got a bit of a time crunch today, so we're going to kind of fly through this section. We've had huge call volume, everybody ready for the playoffs. How are you doing? You in the playoffs, Ev?
That time of the year. One of my leagues I am in, the other few I am out of. I was right on the bubble, and then the last week just kind of, I had control of my own destiny, and the last week just killed me.
Ouch.
Yeah,
All right.
I know how that is. I had control of my destiny, too, and lost. So, who you got at quarterback, Everett?
At quarterback today, I have Jay Cutler. I think he's playing against Minnesota. It's a divisional game, but they are against the passer. They are a top 10 defense. I mean, we all know about their ability to stop the run this year. It's nothing. It's not the greatest, but it is.
No, that's a good. That's the kind of play we're looking for. How about running back?
Running back, I also have Trent Richardson. I mean, Kansas City pulled together big win last week after all the nonsense there, and then this week I feel they're back to the same old Kansas City falling apart. Trent Richardson's going to have a big day.
I think we're unanimous on Trent Richardson
there you go.
today.
Absolutely.
Across the show. And finally, wide receiver?
Let's go with somebody on the Giants because, they're playing the Saints. I have Hakeem Nicks today. I have Hakeem Nicks going to be having a big day. Victor Cruz, we all know he's going to get his numbers. Victor Cruz also is the target for most defenses now because he's the premier guy. I think Hakeem Nicks has a good day against the Saints.
Okay, good picks from Everett, and you can see him out at the Pick behind the bar. The Piccalilli Inn runs their green bottle specials during Eagles games. The commission and I were out there last week. He had a large party, a couple of those big 50-wing bowls, and some other food. Everything was fantastic. I want to tell you folks, head on out to the Piccalilli Inn, Route 206 in Chemung, New Jersey. The wings are world-class. Everett will make sure you have a cold beer in your hand fast, and every NFL game is up on the screen on Sunday. You get college games, baseball playoffs, basketball now, and the whole show. Take a ride to the Pick. Treat yourself to a great time.
All right. Thanks for the call, Everett.
No problem, guys. Have a good day.
You too. All right, real quick, let's go back to the phone lines. We got Matt from Northfield on the phone. Matt, what do you got for us?
Hey, guys, I got a flex question for you.
All right.
I have Bryce Brown, Aaron Hernandez, and Torrey Smith.
Wow.
Good problem to have for a flex.
I think you got to go the hot hand here. You got to go Bryce Brown. I mean, Tampa Bay has been a little bit stout against the run, but Bryce Brown's been out of control. So I'm going to stick with Bryce Brown on this one.
Yeah, the only thing that the Buccaneers defense does well is stop the run. So Brown is actually a little risky this week. I do think that Hernandez, however, is guaranteed to get you some production. So I'm going to go for the short points here. Brown's got the upside, but take Hernandez if you need him. If you need those points.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, thanks for the call. All right, guys, we have had a ton of activity today. As we have said, it is win or go home time, and so it is going crazy. But we still got to get through our studs, duds, and sleepers. So, Kamish, who is your stud of the week?
My stud of the week has to be Drew Brees versus the New York Football Giants. He's coming off one of the worst games of the season, but I think he bounces back huge against a bad New York Giants secondary.
Okay, RG3 is hunting for the playoffs in his first year. The Skins get the beat-up Ravens defense. I don't know if they win it, but these awful beat-up defenses mean that this should be a high-scoring affair.
All right, and so who is your dud of the week, Professor?
You know what? I think the emotion that the Chiefs had last week blows out like an untied balloon. Jamal Charles and the Chiefs are in for a letdown at Cleveland.
I'm going to go with Andy Dalton as a dud. Dallas has decent corners. Gresham has a hammy, and A.J. Green was sick this week. Plus, they lost a teammate in a drunk driving accident, which Dallas did. Dallas will play with some emotion in this one, which I think will bode not well for Andy Dalton.
I can certainly see that.
So, who is your sleeper of the week then, Kamish?
I'm going Brandon Whedon, quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. He goes up against KC. Whedon has been very decent these past few weeks. KC gives up the 8th most fantasy points to the quarterback.
Okay, 55 minutes into the show before I said a nice thing about this team, but I'm not forgetting about you, Eagles fans. Riley Cooper reeled in a touchdown last week with Deshaun Jackson, air quotes, injured. Cooper will see some targets. I bet you a shiny penny he's on your waiver wire. If you need a third starter, roll the dice.
All right, that's some great stuff there. Hey, and we had a ton of callers today. If you couldn't get through, you still need some help with your lineup, check us out online. It's www.kickassfantasyfootball.com. It is great stuff. You can find all the information there that you need to help guide you to a championship. Hey, guys, I got a question for you before we go. Well, besides, is anyone going to actually watch Eagles versus Tampa Bay? Is there any way, I've been asking you every week, can the Eagles win this one? Can they pull this one out?
They made it close last week, but it's the Eagles, so of course they tore our hearts out. I don't think they have as much of a chance against the Buccaneers. They are really playing for next year at this point, putting in a lot of developmental players, I guess is the best way to phrase it. I do want to add to your comment about callers not able to get through. The Commish and JB have a show at 11 o'clock on Blog Talk Radio. You can call them and get any of your last-minute lineup questions. Commish, you got the contact number? And
yes, as a matter of fact, you can call that show 1-800-531-8... Oh, God, 531-8111, I believe is the number.
You want to go out to Blog Talk Radio,
Blog Talk Radio,
and look for Kick-Ass Fantasy Football out there, and you can listen to the Commish and JB take his last-minute lineup questions. Guys like Michael Bush that were wondering if they're going to play, these guys will know by that time.
And what time is that again?
That's 11 o'clock, Blog Talk Radio. Check out me and the Fantasy Phenom, JB.
All right, so if you weren't able to get through to us here, give them a call. Again, that's Blog Talk Radio, 11 o'clock. Check it out, the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show there, or head on over to our website, kickassfantasyfootball.com. A lot of great information there. All right, we got just another minute left, so let me ask you, Baltimore, Washington, you talked about it. Can RG3 pull this one out?
Can he? Yes. Will he? No. This is like a 38-35 kind of game. Both of these defenses are missing their best players at this point in the season, and they are going to be chucking the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a great game to watch as a fan. As a fantasy fan, you got RG3 in this one. I think Flacco's going to put up some big numbers. Torrey Smith, Ray Rice, the Butler, Pierre Garçon, a lot of great fantasy players in this one, so definitely you want to watch that one.
All right, and a great place to watch all these games, head on out to the Piccalilli Inn on Route 206 in Chemung, New Jersey. They'll have them all going. You can see whoever your favorite team is and watch them, and hopefully make the playoffs if your team is still in it. Mine, sadly, is not. I'm going for the draft.
Well, we were sprinting towards the end. We had a lot of call volume. We did kind of skip our reach section, and I do want to throw out a couple names since we've got a minute left on the clock.
Sure.
Justin Forsett is now the backup to Arian Foster out in Houston, and if they get a lot of production on the ground, and I think they can against that Patriots defense, he's a guy that you can play this week, and he's definitely a guy that if he's on your waiver wire in any league, go get him. Okay. My other reach is Andrew Hawkins, injury to Mohamed Sanu for Cincinnati. I don't know that Hawkins is a lock play this week. He's kind of marginal, but he is a guy that will get a lot of those looks down low like he was earlier in the season. So a couple guys that as you're heading into the final weeks, you can certainly bolster your lineup and make a couple moves to make yourself better.
Like Canadian League or something like that?
Well, he was
NFL Europe. I don't know, something.
He was good for about 4 weeks in the early part of the season. Sanu kind of eclipsed him, and now he's got the opportunity. Let's see if he takes it.
All right, great stuff there. Hey, I want to thank everyone for listening to the Piccalilli Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Hey, I love the music going out too. There we go. That's
I'm getting the spirit, man.
Orchestra. All right. Hey, I want to thank the Professor Steve Wynn and our kick-ass producer Scott Ewing, and of course the commish Henry Brick. I'm your host, Fantasy Insider Matt Lowry, and I want to remind everybody you can check out all this information again on our website, www.kickassfantasyfootball.com. I hope your team has made it to the playoffs. I hope we gave you some great information that's going to help you win. Hey, and if you're not playing fantasy football, you're probably spending too much time deciding if your kid would enjoy a Charlie in the box. I don't even know what that means.
It's from the Island of Misfit Toys.
Oh, Charlie.
Nobody likes a trolley in the box.
You know what? Good call. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you again next week.